Hi guys, welcome to Friday. You're almost done with the narrative unit. It seems like it's taken forever, I'm sure, but it's only been 1 week. The good news is we are officially 1/6 of the way done with this class after today. So we've got a lot of big stuff coming up. I'm going to outline them in this video to make sure you know where to go. Then we're going to talk about some things that I'm noticing in your writing responses. I will have already emailed you back with some feedback, but just a couple of things to help guide the class a little bit more. And then we'll talk briefly in this video about conclusions, even though we've already mentioned them a little bit. In the next video, we'll talk about titles, how to create a good title, and some more little specific writing rules that a couple of you are doing great at. Some of you need some polishing, okay? So we're going to talk about some administrative details. How to submit the narrative paper. So again, it is due Friday today at 11:59 p.m. on eCampus. So I'm going to show you where that is. Go to coursework, it's our homepage here. Go to papers, narrative, and this here. So this will open, the portal for the submission will open at noon on Friday, okay? I don't want to open them too soon because there are not a lot of resubmit options in case you change your mind later, like if you're working on your paper on Thursday and you go ahead and submit it and then you find out you want to work on it some more. So this helps you prevent early submission, okay? So all you do is you click up here, narrative paper submission. And again, this 1 point possible means I received it. It does not mean you have 100 out of 100 or 1 out of 1. It just means I am acknowledging that it's my way to acknowledge I have received it. Here's the due date again. And all you do is go down to browse my computer like you would for submitting your writing response. You click whatever document you want, hit open, and then you hit submit. Okay? So, again, do not let it be late. If you have to work or something, a crazy shift at that time, turn it in early, and I will have that feedback to you over the weekend. Also remember that this is a final for now draft. So you have up until the very end of the semester to revise your narrative paper. I highly recommend, for especially summer classes, that you do all of the work up front, so that when we get to week 6 and you're revising your papers and you're making them stronger and better drafts, you don't have the unfortunate circumstance of only having 400 words in a 1,200 to 1,500 word paper. Okay? Most of you in your writing responses wrote over what I asked, so thank you for that. But we will stick to the 12 to 1,500 words for your narrative draft here. Again, you will not receive a grade on this draft. I'm only going to provide you with feedback. Okay? The second thing, free writes. So you all are doing a very good job of keeping up with the free writes. We will not have one for today because there is a major project due today. So on these free writes, I go through and I provide feedback for every single one of you every day. Okay? So please, when you do, I'm not sure on the student end if it pops up, but go back into your free write probably a day or two later and read my comments that I've written. You can normally do it the same day because I'm pretty quick with them, but please do read that feedback. It is tailored to help you individually with any questions you have, or if I see you're heading in the wrong direction, I'll re-guide your attempts. Okay? 2 more notes, and then we'll get into the video. Late work. Like I said, on the syllabus, it says it's not technically accepted. The late work that I do accept, so some of you might have a free write that you submitted a little late, or your writing response might have been submitted a little late. I will accept it. It will affect your participation grade. So that's good news, and well, it's good news to you because your participation grade is very minimal. It's 10% for the overall class. So if you have one free ride that's late on one day in a category that counts for 10%, then it's like basically non-existent. Okay? It's not going to drop a letter grade or even half a letter grade. So just don't make a habit of lateness. That's whenever students get into trouble. So I will accept the work. Don't make a habit of lateness. It affects your participation grade. But I will accept those assignments because they're more important for me to accept them than for you to not turn anything in at all. And the last note is, let's go to our syllabus. I sent out an email already about Monday. When I was making the syllabus, the 4th of July was not on my mind. So I've since revised it. And as I said in the email, the university is closed Monday. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're just going to shove the work that was meant for Monday to Tuesday. The only thing that really affects all of you is these two writing responses are now back to back. So writing responses, most of you did above and beyond the work for the first writing response. The second writing response will be due Tuesday at 4 p.m. on eCampus. It's in the same place as the last one under exploratory writing. All right, you submit it in the same way. There's going to be a writing response to submission. So for this, I have the prompt already here. A couple of you emailed me about the first one. The second one is easier. It just is, what do you think is a rhetorical analysis? So I'm having you read a rhetorical analysis. Again, the portal will become open over the weekend, and then I'm having you read Deconstructing Ad. These are both short. All right, all the readings will be short. So what do you think is a rhetorical analysis after you have read the sample rhetorical analysis essay? What are some of the goals and purposes of doing a rhetorical analysis? Okay, so before I just tell you the answers to everything, I want you to think on your own, or think for yourself, and come up with a one-page double-spaced response to these two questions. And again, that's due Tuesday by 4 p.m. I will open the portal early, so if you have something else due on Tuesday, if you're taking another class or whatever, you can turn it in early, but just so you know, that is coming up. We will be starting the second unit on Tuesday, and then, like I said, it's back-to-back with another writing response. Because of my fault not planning for 4th of July, this will be the only time when you have two writing responses back-to-back, okay? And you won't ever have a writing response due the same day or back-to-back with the same day that you have a major project due, okay? That's just way too much writing. So again, free writes every day except for when a major project is due. Keep up with these writing responses, and then keep watching the YouTube videos. All right, I'll give you more details about this week when we get into it next week. Okay, so let's think about some things that I saw in your writing responses. So basically, the showing versus telling, some of you are getting it really, really well, and I'm super impressed. Some of you are still not pushing, I guess, the limits of your creative abilities yet. So, showing versus telling, really think about specific language. Do you remember the car versus the blue 1989 Honda Civic? The latter, the blue 1989 Honda Civic, is the type of language you want to be including in your papers. Obviously not that exact language if there's not a Honda Civic in your paper, but something like the texture of whatever you're around, you're touching. A lot of you are doing sports stuff, or like how does something taste? So again, those five senses. I'm not sure how else to put it, but when you are looking at your paragraph, think about, or maybe even highlight, how many times do I talk about the five senses, or what do I see in this paragraph? What do I taste? What do I hear? What do I smell? All right, that might be a good place, because a lot of you so far don't have really the five senses in your paragraphs at all yet. It's just a lot of like feeling. I thought this or I thought that. That's fine, but it's overwhelming the paper right now. Thoughts are very nebulous and vague. So stick to something concrete or tangible, and that will enhance your writing, because the reader, for example, if I say elephant, what do you think of? Hopefully an elephant, right? But if I say, I thought she was mad at me, but I couldn't tell if she was mad at me, that doesn't really evoke the same kind of specific imagery or detail that a tangible thing or a concrete detail like just saying the word elephant does. Okay? So, that brings me to my next point. Avoid landscape or nature descriptions, and avoid facial expression descriptions. So if you've already written them, I'm not going to say go back and change them, but just avoid cliches with these two things. Again, nature and landscape descriptions and facial expressions. So the reason why is, again, just they're very hard to do without making them cliche. So I'm a huge stickler for cliches. I will be a jerk about it. I will be highlighting them in your drafts, and I will say cliche, and I'll just keep highlighting them to show how many times students use cliches. Cliches are often like comforters, because they allow the writer to say things that without being specific, basically. So cliches can be applicable to other people's lives, and that's not what this paper is about. Okay, so at the beginning of each paragraph, for the most part, and specifically in these scene parts, situate the reader. And what that means is, where are we and when are we? Okay, don't assume that your reader knows when you start talking about this conversation you had with your friend or your mom or whoever. So give us some specific details. What's it doing? Like, what season is it? You can just say autumn to help place us. You don't have to say the exact date. If you do, that's fine. But yeah, when are we and where are we? And that will also help with showing versus telling, because when you start describing a place, you are showing the place. Instead of saying, like, we're in a tackle shop or we're in a fishing shop. Tell me about the stuff inside the shop. Okay. So I've created this. We'll actually get to conclusions in the next video, but I've created this just to help guide you guys a little bit more. You already have a sample outline, but this one is a little bit more specific and tailored to this class. So the introduction hook, I've listed the 5 types here, and I'll put this online so you'll have it. A bridge is just what links the hook to the thesis statement or the theme sentence. So make sure in your introductions you have some sort of hook and then details in the middle. It's like a sandwich for all of these, honestly. So the second sandwich, quote unquote, would be you have a topic sentence in your scene 1. Again, where are we and when are we? And that will be the character, you as the main character, and we as readers following you around. The story, what's the conflict, the tension, what are the tangible details? Again, all of these things are, it's more or less systematic, just I can't, tell you what to do for each paper, and I also don't want to, because you're all individual thinkers and writers. This part here, which I had you write a little bit about yesterday in focus, why the story matters, how it compares to other stories. So for this scene 1, why is this important? It's the so what question. How does it compare to stories 2 and 3? You won't really have this part in scene 1, but in scenes 2 and 3, definitely add it, because I'm going to be asking as the reader, why is this important? How does it compare to other stories? In the conclusion, we'll talk a little bit about in the next video, so stick around for that, and keep working hard.